Welcome back to another Professional Picks college basketball video. I had a good weekend, came out on top with our Virginia pick, and that was all we had. I was actually at the games in Vegas, so that's why I was a little MIA, but awesome to see Illinois beat UCLA. Just a lot of good basketball this last weekend, but we are back on our normal schedule. Expect a lot more single game picks this week. And first up for November 23rd, that'll be Wednesday. We have Butler versus number 2022 Tennessee. Just quickly looking at the results here. Virginia won this game outright against Baylor. It's putting us at 3-1 on the season, and I believe at 1.58 units above even. With that, we'll jump into our matchup here. So we got Butler against Tennessee, 7.5 point spread, and this game is taking place in the Bahamas, so neutral court here. Tennessee, they opened the season at number 11, and after a pretty bad loss to Colorado at home too, they've now dropped to number 22 in the country. I feel like they have to still be ranked since they started off the season at number 11. But in my opinion, this Tennessee roster just isn't up to par with just those teams they've had in the last 5 years or so. I think they're definitely going to have a bit of a down year with the talent that's on the team. Yes, they're bringing some guys back. I don't necessarily think they were their best players by any means. Butler also has one loss this season, but that game was at Penn State, who, in addition to being on the road, for Butler. I think Penn State's a pretty good team this year. They got a lot of seniors. I think Jalen Pickett is a monster. He's a great basketball player. Bring back guys like Seth Lundy. So I don't think that road loss where Baylor didn't or where Butler didn't shoot the ball that well is going to play too much into how I view this team. I do really think that that Colorado loss at home for Tennessee was much worse. Colorado is now 3-3 on the season, so that home loss for Tennessee is just beginning to look worse and worse. Also worth mentioning, this is Tennessee's first non-home game. While it's not technically a road game, they have not played outside of Knoxville yet on the season. Butler did have that one game at Penn State. I do think Olivier Nahumwa is going to be the X factor here for Tennessee. Neither of these teams are too strong in the post. I would say these are more so perimeter-oriented teams. And yeah, I just think that Butler's real one true weakness is if they play like one or two good posts who could just put up a lot of points. Yes, they got Manny Bates, transfer, good rim protector, but they don't have a true four. They have more of a stretch four. So I think this plays a little bit into their hands with the belief that Tennessee's front court just isn't that strong. Yes, Olivier Nahumwa is a good player, but he's not elite level like a Drew Timme or just a lot of these games we have been betting on. I also think Butler is going to be like, yes, they lost at Penn State, but I think they're a little back this year from what we've seen in the last 5 seasons. Butler, for the longest time, was always a lock to make March Madness, always seemed to go on those Cinderella runs. But I do think they're going to be a very good team this year, even despite this spread. Chuck Harris, I have there as their X factor. He's already been their best player at Butler for the last 3 seasons. Now he's got a little bit more help on the roster, and he's become way more efficient, shooting over 50% for the first time. Yes, it's still early, but now that he doesn't have to do absolutely everything, I think he's really starting to shine just within that program. They also got Eric Hunter, who's in his 5th season from Purdue. He was a starter there on some very good teams. I think put him in a more scoring heavy role. He could also really shine. I mean, those Purdue teams always had like Travion Williams, Zach Edey, for instance. They're just more so grinded out down low. I think Eric Hunter's shown some really good progression in his 5th season. And on top of that, like we mentioned already, Manny Bates, also part of this Butler squad, coming over from NC State, the 3rd all-time leader in blocks for them. This Butler team definitely has some pieces. And I don't think either of these teams have great benches. That was going to be another potential swaying point. But both these teams, I think they're 1 through 5 is pretty solid, and then the benches don't really give too much of a swing either way. Probably favor Tennessee, but I don't think their bench is really blowing Butler out of the water by any means. Statistically, on paper, these teams look pretty similar. Butler's given up or averaging a little bit more points per game on the season, but everything's fairly similar. The one like just glaring obvious difference here was Butler shot 53% from the field on the season, while Tennessee's only shot 37% from the field. They're just not been efficient, and that's pretty alarming, honestly. 37%, especially for the competition they've played. They play like Tennessee Tech, Florida Gulf Coast, and Colorado, who's not even a real powerhouse, even as a Power 5 team. So even with all this, I started looking into the stats a little bit more. Josiah Jordan James, more just like a glue guy for Tennessee. He's playing out of his mind. He's shooting like 50% from the field. It's a good 15% greater than his previous 3 seasons at Tennessee. So I expect him to even regress more. There's no way he keeps that up. And this team's already shooting 30%, 7% from the field. I just don't believe in this Tennessee offense. Their strength listed there is defense, according to KenPom, one of the better defensive teams in the country. But despite all that, this 7.5 point spread just seems way too big for a Butler team who definitely has some question marks. But Chuck Harris is a very solid player. He's tired of losing there. He's obviously stuck around for a while. I thought he would have transferred out after this last season, but they brought in some new guys, and they got a really solid team there. Yes, it's still kind of early, but they've gotten a few games to get going here. I know I was really hammering those experienced, just established rotations, but I don't think that'll play too much of a factor in this one. Tennessee does have more guys returning, but there's also some new faces there. Getting a little bit more into the season now, not too much, but despite all that, this 7.5 point spread is too many points to give up, especially to this Butler team, who I think is going to have their best season in the last 4 or 5 years here. The pick is going to be Butler plus 7.5. We're going 1 unit. I don't know if I'm just selling myself on it, but I feel really great about this pick. Thinking we're going to jump here to 4-1. But this line also opened at +9. They took it off the books right away. So if anything, I expect this line to drop even further. But I think Butler plus 7.5, great pick. Highly recommend it. Let me know what you guys thinking in the comments, whether you're tailing, fading, any other games you're interested in tomorrow. One bonus play, not official on our record, but I'm also saying I think Wisconsin money line is a really great play against Dayton tomorrow as well. Just another thing to give a look. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate just all the increased interaction we're getting this season. It's really been great. Enjoying it. But with that, we'll wrap up our video. As always, we have our partnership with Prize Picks. You can see there on the left, they'll match your first deposit up to $100 using our promo code PROPICKS. It's a daily fantasy app, so you can use it in betting in legal states. Just give it a look if you haven't already. It's really gaining popularity, especially for betting on props. But once again, thank you guys for watching. Going with Butler plus 7.5 tomorrow. That is our only official play going on the card. Please stay tuned for any other picks this week. But good luck to everybody.